Majority of you said you want a whole man in your life who can provide, keep, and protect, right? So here's the question. How can you have one when you get up every day trying to be the best man you can be? No.
Well,
No.
if I'm
no. Hey.
Well, no, I have an answer.
I think that you really get the woman that you create, right? And so, or the woman that you cultivate. It's kind of like, well, what kind of man were you that type of woman was even laying next to you? With that, right, did you make her feel safe? Were you consistent? Did you show up in the way that you have? Were you considerate? That's one of the largest form of intimacy is consideration. But that woman is a reflection of the household that you created. That woman is a reflection of the relationship that you created. So if you got a woman that's waking up trying to be a man, something ain't right, baby.
That's really valid. Maybe not you, but maybe it is a realization like, I like women. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you do.
OG.
So many men come to the mic. All
OG.
these women are masculine. Maybe you like,
Oh no.
you need to hold that.
The comment section of that video was filled with the same lack that the women on the panel demonstrated. That is a lack of accountability for listening. Lack of accountability for listening. At no point, and I went and listened to the whole thing, at no point did this man say that the woman that he wakes up next to is getting up every morning trying to be the man. What his statement said that went completely over their head, or an automatic defense popped up. What he said was, how can you women want a man who's going to provide and protect when every day you wake up trying to be like a man instead of trying to be like a woman, instead of living in your femininity? And there were even some women in the comments who were saying that a woman living in her masculinity is the greatest form of a woman's femininity. That blows completely opposite. That's an oxymoron at its best. That you are saying that if a woman acts masculine, be masculine, that she is living in her femininity. I can understand to a certain degree that women, if you're single, yes, you have to pay 100% of your bills. If you are single, yes, you have to clean 100% of your house. If you are single, you have children, you have to raise your children 100% on your own. You have to drive yourself 100%. You have to cook for yourself 100%. You have to do everything 100%. That is not living in your masculinity, that you have to do everything 100%. That's called adulting. Simply that, adulting. You see, back in the day, women didn't leave the house of their parents until they got married. We don't live in that time frame. So a woman going out and having a life for herself is not a woman living in her masculinity. That is a woman adulting. Just like a man, he goes out and he's living on his own. He is adulting. He's not living in his masculinity when he has to cook, when he has to clean, when he has to raise the children by himself, when he has to do anything that we would classify as living in your femininity. Those are just things that you do as an adult. It's called adulting. But the problem here is exactly what I said. The first misaccountability is the fact that those people on the panel became so triggered that they didn't listen and understand what he said. He was talking about the fact that when you do start dating someone, instead of her being in her femininity, she's trying to be in her masculinity in the relationship. You see, the energy of masculine and feminine is needed in order to create anything in the universe. That's how everything in the universe works. In order to, in the lowest level, to create a baby, you need masculine and feminine. And when I take this into a business format, in order to run a business, you need the masculinity of instruction, the masculinity of rules and regulation, but you also need the femininity of nurturing, of caretaking, Those things can be attributed in either male or female. You need those things in a business, the balance of the two to manifest profit in a business. Caretaking for your taking care of your employees and your customers, but also having rules and regulations and instructions for your employees and your customers. It takes masculine and feminine to do anything. In the nucleus of any cell or any molecule, we have protons and neutrons, masculine and feminine. You have to have both, positive or negative. Not that negative means something bad, but it's just the different charges that it takes in order to manifest the atom, to manifest then the molecule, and so on and so forth. But that part was missing. That part was ignored because they were triggered by the idea of a man saying that women wake up in total masculinity, but yet want to be in a relationship with a masculine man. You cannot have two masculinity in a relationship. If you do, you got two dudes. All right. You got two dudes in the relationship. And if that's what you want, if that's what you like, then go for it. Do it. Do it all day long. But that's what you got. You got two dudes. You will have a relationship where the man and the woman are constantly at odds with one another. The man and the woman are constantly fighting one another. But if you want a man to provide, to protect, to be a leader, then somebody has to be the follower. Somebody has to be the follower. And if you want a man to be a leader. And also, when you look at that type of situation, it is not subservientness of the feminine, but it is to be a completion of what it takes to manifest the beauty of a relationship, to create a relationship that is fruitful. So you need to have someone who does this role and someone who fulfills that role, but together they are building in unity a household, a family. It is not that one is greater than the other. It is that the one alone cannot build a family. It takes both to build a family, a complete family, to have it in completion. And yes, many people do great as single mothers and single fathers. But the most complete version is to have a mother and father to raise the children, to build a family. A complete family is both the masculine and the feminine in order to produce it. But you cannot have both two masculines. You cannot have two feminines. It doesn't work that way in a completion. Now, we can live and we can survive and we can raise great children without the completion. Generally, when that does happen, there are outside masculines and feminines that are completing the entire process, but it can dwell within a household as one sided. But outside, there is the coaches, the religious leaders, the community leaders of both masculine and feminine that completes the operation that you're trying to have as a family. But in a perfect situation, you have that completion in the household. And that's what he was trying to get across. But when they got triggered so quickly, they ignored that. They deflected against that. They immediately became defensive towards that. And as long as you are defensive towards that type of mindset and realizing the reality of things, you will be in a deficit of being able to have that completion of a relationship or that completion of a family. And I would love to hear you guys' comments on it. And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.